She wrote about dragons, romance, and war, capturing millions of hearts overnight. Rebecca Yarros went from beloved indie author to BookTok royalty. TikTokers cried on camera, bookstores ran out of copies, and suddenly, Yarros was at the center of a publishing frenzy. But behind the whirlwind of viral fame lay a quieter, more complex truth. Fans didn't just connect with the story. They latched onto Yarros herself. Her background, her family life, her illness, her honesty. Readers felt they knew her. And in a world where fame rises in a heartbeat, it can unravel just as quickly. Soon, Rebecca would face a rising tide of expectations, criticism, and heartbreak that no one saw coming. This is the story of a woman who wrote through pain and became a sensation, and how everything changed when the spotlight turned scorching. Was it just fame, or something deeper? Did BookTok turn on her? Or did it reveal the unrealistic expectations we place on who our heroes are supposed to be? This is the untold story of Rebecca Yarros. Released in May 2023, Fourth Wing didn't just launch. It ignited. Within a week of release, it debuted on the New York Times bestseller list and rapidly climbed to the #1 spot. By the end of summer, it had sold over 2 million copies. I hoped readers would connect, but the scale of response completely shocked me, Yarros told People magazine.
Reading Precious Things by Rebecca Yarros. I loved this book. 5 stars easily. It was such a good story.
I finished reading The Things We Leave Unfinished last night.
Ouch!
Absolutely loved this book. Opened the first page, I was smiling.
The book combined high-stakes fantasy with sizzling romance and an underdog heroine who lives with chronic illness, mirroring Yarros' own journey with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. For many readers, this wasn't just escapism. It was personal. One TikToker tearfully shared, "I've never seen someone like me wield this much power in fiction. Violet's pain is real. It's not just written, it's lived." On TikTok, the hashtag Fourth Wing exploded, surpassing 1 billion views. Readers filmed themselves crying after the final chapters, dressing up as cadets, creating fan art, and even getting dragon tattoos.
This book has me bawling. I am 93% through it, and I don't think I can finish it.
BookTok quickly filled with what fans call aesthetic edits. Short, stylized videos set to music that combine book quotes, dramatic visuals, and emotional soundtracks.
Sorrengail, nice to see that you made it. For the record, please tell me the name of the dragon who chose you.
Ternanok.
Pronunciation could use some work.
Hey, at least I remembered.
At least I didn't let you fall to your death.
I can't believe you found me. Violet, he's a legend.
These edits featured violent lightning strikes, dragons with burning wings, cinematic transitions, and quotes like, "Hope is harder to kill than a dragon." They helped turn the book into a full-blown cultural aesthetic. The special edition copies, with their black sprayed edges and exclusive cover art, became coveted collector's items. Bookstores couldn't keep it in stock.
A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Welcome to the Fourth Wing.
Ayo, collector check. Show the most expensive item in your collection, the least expensive item in your collection, the item everyone wants to steal when they see your collection.
Some fans reported calling 5 or 6 retailers in a single day to find a copy. Fourth Wing also received praise for its disability rep and mature character development.
I think a lot of the chronic illness representation is probably what's most touching. It was something I felt strongly about, and you don't see a lot of heroines with chronic illness, on the bestseller lists. And I think I can do it justice without being a monolith. My kids all have it. I have it.
Yeah.
I've seen the way it's represented, and I think giving a voice to people who, we look like we're perfectly healthy, but our joints are. Our bones are not, that kind of thing. And then I think a lot of people saying how it's brought them back to reading is probably the most humbling. Like, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say besides thank you when they say that. I'm really excited there's a whole new group of readers, though.
Violet's physical vulnerability and emotional resilience made her more relatable than the typical invincible fantasy heroine. Yarros later said in an interview, "I wrote Violet for the kids like mine, who are fighting invisible battles and still showing up." It was more than a fantasy hit. It was a movement, fueled by raw emotion, community obsession, and one author's deeply personal truth. Rebecca Yarros had been writing for nearly a decade before Fourth Wing transformed her life. Her first novel, Full Measures, was published in 2014. Over the next 9 years, she quietly built a catalog of emotionally charged contemporary romances, stories filled with military families, grief, healing, and impossible love. By 2023, she had released 15 novels, each one deeply personal. She once said in an interview, "I write books for the broken, because that's who I am. These stories saved me." Behind the bestseller status is Rebecca Yarros, a military spouse, mother of 6, and chronic illness warrior, whose real-life struggles are woven into every page she writes. Her life hasn't followed the polished arc of a perfect heroine. It's been raw, chaotic, and deeply human. Yarros has lived through war, parenting trauma, and a debilitating genetic condition that leaves her in daily pain. She's been open about her diagnosis of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, describing it as a pain like broken glass under your skin. The condition affects her joints and tissues, often making simple tasks unbearable. And yet, she writes. Her early novels, like The Last Letter and In the Likely Event, are steeped in the emotional residue of military life. Long deployments, grief, the constant fear of loss. She once said, "Every goodbye has weight when you don't know if it's your last." That weight is all over her early work, but it wasn't just grief that shaped her voice. It was survival. Yarros and her husband adopted children from foster care and navigated the heartbreak and complexity that comes with parenting trauma. In interviews, she's explained that her home life could swing from laughter to crisis in a single hour. Writing became her anchor. "Creating stories helped me survive deployments, chronic illness, and parenting through chaos," she said. And readers could feel that. Her work struck a different chord. Her heroines weren't flawless. They were fragile and brave at the same time. When Violet Sorrengail arrived in Fourth Wing, readers noticed immediately. This wasn't your typical fantasy warrior. She struggled with joint instability, fatigue, and pain. She had to train differently, fight differently, and still found ways to rise. For Yarros, Violet's journey wasn't fiction. It was autobiography in disguise.
Well, people who have chronic illness saw it within the first few chapters. They saw it for what it was and they recognized it for what it was. And people who didn't thought she was weak, she shouldn't survive, she shouldn't have been able to conquer what she did, she should have been killed, things like that. And I couldn't help but sit back and just shake my head in irony because it mirrors real life.
Yarros later explained that she didn't write Violet to be inspiring. She wrote her to be real. "I wrote Violet for the kids like mine, who are fighting invisible battles and still showing up." That level of honesty is rare in fantasy, and it hit readers hard. People with chronic illnesses flooded TikTok and Goodreads, saying they felt seen for the first time. One user wrote, "I've never read a book that so gently handed me back my dignity." It wasn't just representation, it was revelation. Yarros showed readers that pain didn't mean weakness, and that fighting differently didn't make you less of a hero. BookTok catapulted Yarros from indie romance author to household name in fantasy fiction. Special edition books sold out within hours, and pre-orders crashed bookstore websites. Even Yarros seemed stunned by the response, admitting in multiple interviews, "Seeing thousands line up for my book was astonishing and overwhelming."
The hashtag of your name on TikTok, are you aware of this? More than 2 billion?
They just told me backstage. Like,
2 billion views.
Yeah, it's amazing to see it out. It's really surreal, kind of like it's happening to somebody else, but it's also, I see somebody reading it and I think, oh, you've been in my brain? Like we have this collective experience. We've been to this place together, so it's a really great feeling.
But what set this fandom apart wasn't just size. It was the immersion. A major release party at the town hall in New York drew over 1,500 fans. People wore cadet uniforms, customized dragon wing accessories, and held handmade Navarre or bust signs. One attendee told AP News, "It felt like a rock concert, a costume party, and a family reunion all rolled into one." The fandom didn't stop at cosplay. TikTok exploded with choreographed edits, emotional reading vlogs, and thousands of aesthetic compilations of Violet and Xaden's most intimate moments. Fans posted reaction clips with tear-streaked faces, swooning confessions, and even video essays exploring the political structure of Basgath War College.
A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Welcome to the Fourth Wing.
What? I still have like 2 chapters left.
The hashtags Yarrosverse, Team Xaden, and Fourth Wing Theory racked up millions of views. But beneath the surface of the fantasy craze was something deeper: validation. Yarros' portrayal of Violet, living with a genetic connective tissue disorder, spoke to thousands. TikTokers stitched videos sharing their own chronic pain stories, thanking Yarros for showing that vulnerability could still mean power. One fan wrote, "This is the first time I've seen a disabled heroine who doesn't get magically healed. She adapts, and that's everything." Another creator stitched the clip with a message: "I'm a mom with EDS. Violet's story gave me permission to keep going." As Fourth Wing became a movement, Yarros' platform grew, but so did the expectations. Readers weren't just watching her books, they were watching her. Every interview, every live stream, every pronunciation, every behind-the-scenes update was now under scrutiny. By October 2023, just weeks before Iron Flame's release, a noticeable tension was rising. On TikTok and Reddit, fans who had once sung Yarros' praises began to express doubt. Whispers turned into side-eyes, about whether the sequel could live up to the hype, about how quickly her fame had grown, and about the increasing commercialism surrounding the series. Some posts accused her of pandering to BookTok, others questioned her pacing, and a few began to call the series overhyped. The mood was shifting, and the whispers were growing louder. When Iron Flame dropped in early November 2023, what should have been a triumphant moment quickly spiraled into a storm of backlash. The initial wave of excitement was smothered by a printing disaster. Thousands of misprinted copies flooded retailers, featuring upside-down pages, swapped covers, missing chapters, and backwards text. Videos of botched editions went viral within hours. One fan on TikTok held up her book and said through tears, "I waited months for this, and this is what I got?" Another user responded with a stitched video. No words, just a guttural scream into the camera, capturing the frustration so many felt.
So I started reading this, right? And then, what is this? It's like folded over, and it's on this page too.
So I was looking, I was seeing if the like this graphic looks good, right? It says Fourth Wing. First of all, what is this? Okay, this triggered me immediately. I'm like, what is that?
One comment read, "I literally threw my book across the room." But the printing issue was only the beginning. Once readers dove into the actual content, the critique intensified. Goodreads reviews began to pile up. Many glowing, but a vocal wave of readers claimed the sequel was bloated, rushed, and overly reliant on romantic tropes. Some accused Yarros of fan service storytelling, writing scenes that felt algorithmically tailored for TikTok, not for depth. Others pointed to confusing plot points, uneven pacing, and lackluster twists. As one reviewer put it, Iron Flame is less a book and more a social media stunt. Reddit threads dissected every perceived flaw, with fans questioning how the series could have declined so quickly. Others accused Yarros of turning her art into content. Faster releases, constant fan engagement, and serialized hype feeding the machine. The viral success of Fourth Wing had created an impossible standard, and now the internet's appetite for disappointment was insatiable. Then came a new controversy: Yarros' mispronunciation of Scottish Gaelic terms during interviews. What could have been a minor oversight turned into a full-blown pile-on. Despite issuing a thoughtful response, "I made a genuine mistake. I found a tutor. And I'm learning. Please have grace." The internet refused to move on. TikToks mocking her, duets correcting her pronunciation, and hot takes questioning her respect for culture flooded the algorithm.
And yeah, you could annoy some academics and you could absolutely get it wrong, but you would not potentially be hurting or damaging real living speakers of that language. You wouldn't even be engaging with them. And it's like, you're a fantasy author. Be creative, make things up.
The tone shifted from critique to cruelty. Posts that had once praised her authenticity now accused her of being a sellout. Fans who felt protective now turned possessive, combing through every quote, post, and live stream for more flaws to expose. The backlash wasn't just about the book. It was about ownership, about betrayal, about the internet's favorite pastime: building up a woman, then tearing her down. Rebecca Yarros, once BookTok's unproblematic queen, was suddenly at the center of a storm no fantasy dragon could fly her out of. Rebecca Yarros didn't vanish when the criticism started, but she did something far more vulnerable. She opened up. After the release of Iron Flame, as the backlash swelled online, Yarros revealed that the viral fame wasn't just overwhelming, it was dangerous. "I was forced to move homes for privacy," she told People magazine. It was a tidal wave of scrutiny, including death threats. TikTokers were no longer just reacting to her books. They were analyzing her parenting, her health, even her facial expressions in interviews. "I had to step back," she said. "Social media became a hall of mirrors." In a candid Today Show interview, she explained the emotional toll. "I have 6 kids. I'm writing through chronic illness, and suddenly I'm the face of this massive franchise. It's both beautiful and terrifying." She also spoke out about her decision to stop reading comments altogether. The reviews, the Reddit threads, the TikToks. "I couldn't take them personally, but I did. I still do. And yet, she kept writing." Yarros didn't respond with anger or defensiveness. Instead, she channeled her experience into her contemporary novel Variation, which she said allowed her to process the emotional fallout from Iron Flame. "Writing that book helped me grieve. Not just the backlash, but the loss of something I thought was safe." Many fans rallied behind her. TikTokers began uploading support videos, saying things like, "We forget authors are real people." Others stitched clips of her interviews, apologizing for harsh takes. One viral comment read, "She gave us Violet. The least we can give her is grace." While BookTok debated, Yarros continued fighting her private battles, quietly but relentlessly. Her chronic illness didn't pause for publishing deals. Parenting neurodivergent children didn't stop because her books went viral. And the strain of maintaining a marriage shaped by multiple military deployments never really let up. In the midst of it all, in January 2025, she released Onyx Storm, the highly anticipated 3rd installment in the Imperium series, which added yet another layer to her growing universe. While fantasy fans waited for dragons to return, Yarros offered them emotional gravity, real-world stakes, and a reminder that she's still the same writer who's always written from truth. The novel garnered early buzz not just for its story, but for how it bridges her past work with her present fame, cementing her voice as one rooted in vulnerability, strength, and survival. She has said, My life is not aesthetic, it's survival. My writing reflects that truth. That reflection is more than thematic. It's literal. While fans were analyzing plot twists and debating ships, she was scheduling physical therapy around book tours. She was answering emails while sitting through her child's evaluations. She was recovering from joint dislocations between chapters. Behind every viral TikTok and best-selling headline was a woman holding her entire family together with the same resilience she gives her heroines. The emotional weight of her stories isn't fictional. It's biographical. In one moment, she might be celebrated by thousands online. In the next, she might be helping a child through a meltdown or advocating in a medical office. Her world never slowed down for fame. And so, miraculously, she kept writing. Not in spite of the chaos, but because of it. Despite the backlash and burnout, Rebecca Yarros' career shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, her world is only expanding. Amazon, in partnership with Michael B. Jordan's Outlier Society, is officially adapting Fourth Wing into a TV series. Yarros herself shared, "I kick my feet reading the scripts," a nod to how closely the showrunners are working with her to stay true to the source material. A Fourth Wing graphic novel is also in development, giving fans a visual gateway into the Imperium world. New special editions are being printed, hopefully minus the printing disasters, and multiple sequels are already confirmed, with fans already speculating about the next chapter in the Imperium series. Yarros has confirmed the saga will span 5 books in total, with 3 already released and 2 more still in the works.
Hi. Okay, how many books will be in the Fourth Wing series, the Imperium series? So right now it's fully plotted for 5. I had to sit down and do like a whole series synopsis and make sure that everything arcs over like a 3-act structure and everything like that. So right now it is fully plotted for 5. I'm not saying that won't change because stuff, when you're writing stories, sometimes they change, they go a different direction than what you're thinking. But right now it's 5. And let's hope I don't get in massive trouble for saying that. I hope I'm allowed to. I probably should have asked my publisher before I just answered that, but we're gonna roll with it. So thanks. Hopefully that answers the question.
Additionally, her contemporary romance, The Things We Leave Unfinished, has been optioned for a potential screen adaptation, and her 2024 release, In the Likely Event, has stirred early industry buzz for future media rights. After everything, after the fame, the fury, and the fallout, Yarros is still writing. If nothing else, she reminded us that storytelling is survival. And sometimes the bravest thing an author can do is keep showing up. Rebecca Yarros never asked to be the voice of a generation. She simply wrote what hurt and what healed. In doing so, she gave a legion of readers permission to feel, to fight, and to believe that even the broken can still fly. Every time someone subscribes, a book gets its wings. So go ahead. Hit that subscribe button and let the next story begin. And check out our fan favorite about the rise and fall of J.K. Rowling next.